Oh my god. Hi everyone. I'm gonna finish dealing with dragons right now. It's so exciting. Which, then I get to start this. Look, I have a physical copy. Isn't that awesome? Um, I spaced out for a second. This is for D.I.J. Castillo. That's her wonderful Twitter handle. This is chapter 15 of Dealing with Dragons, in which the dragons crown a new king, and Simmering gets a new job. The walk to the fort of Whispering Snakes. You don't even understand. I can't see the word snake without thinking of Snape now. I hate myself. It took longer than Submarine expected. The trees in the enchanted forest grew together in many places, or close together in many places, forcing the dragons to take a zigzag path instead of heading straight up the bank of the river. Warog, who was in the lead, seemed to be deliberately setting a slow pace. Serene was sure he was hoping that the second shift of wizards would arrive at the Blackberry clearing before the dragons at the fort had been warned. She had no idea what would happen then, but she doubted that it would be good. The escort dragon was not interested in Simrine's warnings, however, and he refused to speed things up, so the group ambled on. As they approached the fort at last, they heard cheering ahead of them. Warog flinched visibly, and oh, that means someone won? Who is it? Eleanor and the Stone Prince were startled out of their quiet conversation. What's that? Eleanor said. Sounds to me as if we have a new king, the escort said with great satisfaction. That means I can get you lot off my hands right away. What a relief. I thought I was going to be stuck with you for hours. Eleanor looked faintly indignant at this unflattering opinion. Morwen was merely amused. Warog's wings sagged momentarily, but then he seemed to pull himself back together, and he continued as confidently as ever. Simrine's concern deepened. What if Warog managed to convince the new king that they were all lying? Oh, that's a good point. They reached the edge of the cheering crowd of dragons. Who did it? The escort dragon asked. Who's the new king? How should I know? The other responded. I can't see a thing from way out here. You'll find out soon enough, the escort dragon said. Then he raised his voice and shouted, Make way! Coming through! Oh God! Prisoners for the king! Make way! The crowd of dragons parted reluctantly, and the escort dragon herded the group forward, still shouting. They made their way through the cheering dragons until they reached the edge of the river. Stand away! Someone shouted in the crowd. Stand away for the king! The nearby dragons drew back, leaving Warog, the escort dragon, and Simrine and her friends standing by themselves on the trampled moss. As the dragons moved away, that's relieving. Simrine got sight of Kazul lying comfortably beside the river. Well, maybe it's something else. I don't know. Kazul, Simrine cried and ran forward. Are you all right? A mottled dragon standing beside Kazul shifted and flicked his tail angry at Simrine. Yes! You should say your majesty, he said with a warning scowl. Don't be ridiculous, Frax. She's my princess, Kazul said. I'm quite all right, Simrine. What are you doing here? You're the new king of the dragons, Simrine said in astonishment. But when you left this morning, you could barely fly. How did you get Collinstone all the way from here to the Vanishing Mountain? Collinstone apparently does more than merely pick out the right king, Kazul said. The minute I picked it up, I felt fine. This is impossible, Warog said. Are you accusing me of fraud? Kazul asked mildly. He'd better not, Simrine said. He's the one who was cheating with the help of Zeminar and the rest of the wizards. Really? Kazul said in tones of great interest. It's all nonsense, Warog declared. This girl's just trying to attract attention. Really? Kazul said again, and smiled, displaying all her silver teeth. Oh, come now, Kazul. Surely you won't take a mere princess's word over mine, Warog said. That depends entirely on what she says. Tell us about it, princess, Kazul commanded. So Simrine told them. She brought the Stone Prince forward to explain what he had overheard the wizards and Warog discussing in the banquet hall, and she made Eleanor tell everyone about melting wizards with washwater and lemon juice. She told about getting to the fort of Whispering Snakes on the first feather and being unable to convince any of the dragons to listen to her. She told about going to Morwen's house to find out where the wizards were and about using the last feather to get to the wizards and melt them. She described Zeminar's unexpected appearance and subsequent melting, and the way Morwen had broken the wizard's spell, and she finished with an account of Warog's futile attack. And then he landed, Simrine waved in the direction of the escort dragon, and decided to bring us all back here. And I think somebody ought to go back to the clearing where the blackberries are before the next batch of wizards arrives. I don't know what they'll do when they find out what's happened, but yes, I see, said Kazul. She turned to a pale green dragon beside her. Yes, your majesty, said the pale dragon with a fierce grin. Surely you don't believe this, Warog said. Kazul stared at Warog without saying anything, and the dragons on the edge of the circle rattled their scales. Your majesty, Warog added hastily. Why should I disbelieve it, Kazul said, still watching Warog. The whole thing is preposterous, Warog said. How could wizards do anything to affect Collinstone, your majesty? Kazul looked at Simrine. I'm sorry, Kazul, Simrine said, shaking her head. I know what the wizards were trying to do, but I don't have the slightest idea how they were doing it. I believe I can explain that, Your Majesty, Morwen said. She stepped forward, tossing and catching the wizard's black rock casually in her right hand. They were using this. I believe you'll find it comes from the Cave of Fire and Night. From the King's Cave, in fact, where Colin's stone was found. And one of the properties of the Caves of Fire and Night is that you can use one piece to cast spells which affect similar pieces. Oh. Oh, I get it. Just the way the impossible book says, Cimmerian exclaimed. De Montmorency? Yes, I suppose he is fairly impossible, Morwen said. Kind of. Is this sufficiently similar to Colin's stone that the wizards could have affected the stone through it? Kazul asked. Oh, certainly, Your Majesty, Morwen said. This is, Warg began, ridiculous, impossible, and unbelievable, Kazul said. You've said that already. But I haven't heard you say anything particularly convincing in support of that attitude. Oh, really, Your Majesty, Warg said. Next you'll be saying, I poisoned King Takaz. It doesn't seem likely, Kazul admitted, since Takaz was poisoned with Dragonsbane, and dragons can't get anywhere near this stuff without feeling the effects. What if Seminar made a Dragonsbane-proof packet for him to carry it in, Cimmerian said, thinking of the bag Antrel had been carrying when she and Alienora met him in the valley, something that would melt when he dropped it in the king's coffee. I suppose it's possible, Kazul said, but there's no evidence at all that Zeminar did any such thing. What would it have looked like, Alienora asked suddenly. Would it have been something like a very large tea bag? Everyone turned to look at Alienora. I think that would have worked quite well, Princess, Kazul said. Why do you ask? Because Warog had something like that with him when he went to see King Takaz the night before the king was killed, Alienora said. I saw it. An angry muttering ran through the crowd of dragons. Lies, Warog snarled. They're all lies. Are they? Kazul said coldly. I don't think so. You must have wanted to be king very badly indeed. Warog darted a glance around the circle of dragons. What he saw did not appear to reassure him. No, consorting with wizards, killing the king, and plotting to cheat in the trials with Collinstone, Kazul said as if Warog had not spoken. Hardly proper behavior for a dragon. Oh, I love the use of proper there. The crowd muttered agreement. Cimmerian looked from Warog to Kazul and back. Warog appeared to be terrified of something, but Cimmerian could not tell what it was. He crouched and seemed to shrink away from Kazul, drawing his wings in close and making himself as small as possible. Cimmerian blinked. It was remarkable how much smaller Warog could make himself look. In fact, he's shrinking, Cimmerian exclaimed. No! Warog cried again, but it was much too late. He shrank faster and faster, his wings melting into ridges along his back, and his claws retracting. What? He was barely as tall as Cimmerian's shoulder, and then with a sudden shiver he collapsed in on himself. What? A small rain of scales pattered to the ground. A moment later, an extremely warty toad, with angry red eyes, crawled clumsily out of the center of the pile. Is that Warog? Alienor asked in a hushed tone. The toad turned and glared at her, and she stepped back a pace. The stone prince put a protective arm around Alienora's shoulders and glared back at the road. Behave or I'll step on you, he said. Yes, it's Warog, Kazul said. She sounded almost sad. That's what happens when a dragon stops acting like a dragon. What? They become frogs? What? The toad turned his glare in Kazul's direction, then hopped off and disappeared among the stones along the riverbank. Alienor shuddered. Kazul studied her for a moment. You were Warog's princess, weren't you? I'm sorry about all this, but it couldn't be helped. It won't take long to find you another dragon. I don't think you'll have to worry about finding her another dragon, Cimmerian said. She had been watching Alienor and the Stone Prince, and an idea occurred to her. What? Why not? Said Kazul. Because the Stone Prince fought with Warog, and Warog certainly didn't win. Doesn't that mean that he gets to rescue Warog's princess? I'm not sure the rules cover this situation at all, Kazul said. But it sounds reasonable enough, and under the circumstances, I doubt that anyone will object. Unless, of course, she does. He's asking if she objects to it. That's great. Oh, said Alienora, and blushed a rosy red. No, I don't object at all. Are you sure? The Stone Prince said anxiously. You won't mind waiting a while to marry me? I mean, if you're willing to marry me. You needn't, if the idea don't appeal to you, doesn't appeal to you. It appeals to me very much, Alienora said, blushing redder than ever. But why do you say that we'll have to wait? The Stone Prince sighed. I still have to find a king and do him a great service, and that's bound to take a while. For a young man as intelligent as you seem to be. You're remarkably foolish, Morwen commented. Oh, shit. What on earth do you think you've just done? That is a good point. An expression of astonishment spread across the prince's face. You mean the king I was supposed to serve as the king of the dragons? Exactly, Morwen said, and I doubt you could do her a greater service in saving the throne from Warog's plotting. That's settled then, Kazul said. Let's get the rest of the ceremonies finished and get back to the mountains. There's a great deal of work to be done. The dragons all bowed, and eddies of movement began in various sections of the crowd. Shortly, 2 dragons came forward carrying Collinstone. It looked like a long black log, about 3 times as thick as Cimmerian's waist and twice as tall as she was. The dragons laid it in front of Kazul and backed away. Another dragon appeared, holding a large circlet made of iron, with 6 spikes poking upward at intervals around the rim. Kazul sent her front feet on the black stone, and the dragon set the circlet on her head. The crowd of dragons began cheering again, and after a few minutes they began forming a line to congratulate their new king and present their coronation gifts. Other dragons set up large tubs of wine and platters of meat and cheese, which were quickly surrounded. They have hors d'oeuvres at dragon coronation ceremonies. I can't do this. Oh my god. In the middle of the presentations, the dragons Kazul had set off to the blackberry clearing returned, and Kazul took a short break from accepting congratulations to hear what they had to say. The wizard showed up before we'd been there more than 10 minutes, Your Majesty, said the pale green dragon who was the leader of the group. 6 of them, just like your princess said. They weren't happy to see us, the youngest dragon said smugly. I would think not, Kazul smiled. What did you do with them? We chased 5 of them away, the pale dragon reported. I don't think they'll be back either. 5? The pale dragon shot a glance at the youngest of the group, who licked his lips and looked even more smug than before and said nothing. Holy shit. Yes, Your Majesty. Well, damn. I see. Well, that's more than enough evidence to confirm what Simrin's told us, Kazul commented. She raised her voice. The arrangements between the dragons and the Society of Wizards is hereby cancelled. From now on, wizards will not be allowed anywhere near the Caves of Fire and Night, no matter what they say. Then she went back to accepting presents and congratulations from her new subjects. Simrin watched the festivities with mixed feelings. She was very glad that Kazul was the new king of the dragons, but she couldn't help wondering what effect Kazul's coronation would have on her own position. The king of the dragons certainly would need a princess as a mark of status, and there would be plenty of younger dragons eager to cook and clean for their king, if only as a way of getting a start at the court. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Her preoccupation stayed with her for the rest of the day, through the entire coronation picnic and the flight back to the mountains of morning. Simrin and Alienora rode on the back of a very large dragon whose scales were such a dark green that they looked almost black. Alienora would have preferred to ride with the Stone Prince, but none of the dragons were willing to take on a second passenger if the Stone Prince was the first. All the dragons had paid their respects to Kazul at the coronation, so the cave was empty when the dragon dropped Simrin off. When Simrin said goodbye to Alienora, she promised to come over and help her pack the following morning. Then she went in and waited for Kazul to come home. Kazul did not arrive until very late. She was still wearing the iron crown, and she looked very tired. Thank goodness that's over, she said, taking the crown off and throwing it across the cave. It hit the wall and bounced off with a harsh dang. Clang, I'm sorry. I can't believe a harsh dang. You shouldn't treat your crown like that, Your Majesty, Simrin said, retrieving the iron circlet. Of course I should, Kazul said. It's expected. That's why we've made it out of iron instead of something soft and bendable. Don't start calling me Your Majesty. I've had enough of that for one day. Simrin began to feel a little better. What happens next? Tomorrow we start moving, Kazul said, and sighed. It'll probably take weeks. It's too bad there's no way of warning a new king in time to pack everything up before the work starts. Everything? Simrin said in tones of dismay. Even the library and the treasure vaults? But I've only just got them organized. Everything, Kazul said. And if you think straightening out things here was difficult, wait until you see the mess the official vaults are in. Oh dear, said Simrin. Is it very bad? Kazul nodded. I've just come from looking at it. You'll see for yourself tomorrow. There's a smallish cave next to the library that I think will do nicely for you. But I'd like you to look at it before we start hauling things around. You mean you want me to stay? Simrin blurted. But I thought the king of the dragons didn't need a princess. Don't be ridiculous, Kazul said. How am I going to get my Cherry's Jubilee if you don't stay? And you haven't even started cataloging the library, and how else am I going to get the king's treasure vaults arranged so I can find things? I'm not going to have time to do it. Won't the rest of the dragons object? Kazul snorted. I'm the king. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Those are on 2 separate lines. I'm totally confused. So Simrin says, won't the rest of the dragons object? Kazul snorted. I'm the king. One of the advantages of being king is that nobody objects to whims like keeping a princess when you're not supposed to need one. If it bothers you, we'll give you a different title. King's cook and librarian, maybe. Stop worrying and go to sleep. Tomorrow's going to be a very busy day for both of us. Simrin smiled and went off to her rooms with a light heart. She slept soundly and was up early next morning. Kazul was already awake and supervising 3 of the younger dragons, who were packing up the treasure in the library, since Simrin was pressed into service at once. It was several hours before she could get away to keep her promise to Alienora. I'm sorry I'm late, Simrin apologized when she arrived at Warog's cave at last, but it didn't occur to me that Kazul would be moving too, and she wanted me to help. It's all right, Alienora assured her. It wasn't as big a job as I'd expected, and the prince helped. I'm almost finished. She gestured at an almost full suitcase lying open on the floor. On the other side of the room, the Stone Prince was stacking the empty drawers from Alienora's bureau. Well, at least I got here in time to say goodbye, Simrin said. You're staying with the dragons, then? The Stone Prince asked, straightening with a frown. Are you sure you want to do that? Of course. Yes. Forever. Okay, I'm almost at 15 minutes. I'm going to make another video and then keep reading.